Gotta keep that wet hair vlog going on. Hi guys, I'm on Pacific, and today we're going to talk about things zombie games need to do to fix themselves. So if you paid attention to probably the past 3 or 4 years, you've noticed that zombie games have reached this, I guess, point of stagnation where they're all kind of the same game. You know, you have DayZ was the first one, that kind of revolutionized everything. And then really nothing happened until, like, I guess Dying Light. That was like a parkour zombie game. H1Z1, which was a mess. And State of Decay, which is probably, most of you have never heard of State of Decay, but I am a fanboy of that game. But anyway, these zombie games, so some of them are fictional. Like, I guess a good example of a fictional zombie game is the zombies mode in Black Ops, you know, Call of Duty, Black Ops, and Black Ops 2 and 3, and, you know, that's completely fictional. I mean, you get bows from, like, that shoot flaming balls, and then they can shoot lightning and, like, mystical wolves and volcanoes. Like, what is more fantastical about that? Like, and then you have DayZ, which is, you get shot, you have to go fix yourself up before the other person kills you. You know, that kind of stuff. So, but what these zombie games are doing, specifically the multiplayer ones, is they're trying to combine fantasy elements with realistic elements, which is not good. So, like, a good example is H1Z1. You know, you can, you find guns and weapons, and you don't start out with anything. Okay, you know, whatever. But then, like, you tear up your clothes and get a bow from picking up sticks. Like, okay, that's a little weirder. But then when you build a house, it's, like, impossible to destroy even though it's made of wood. Like, that's what I mean by a fantasy element, is the base building in that game is not very good. Because stuff snaps and it has way too much health, you know, stuff cooks way too fast, like fantasy elements like that. You can sprint for a really long time and recover really fast. That's an issue. Like, those are fantasy elements. Another example is State of Decay. You have the huge fat people that are like 3 or 4 times a normal human. There's no way someone can get that big. Or you have the things that are filled with noxious gas. Yeah, that might happen, you know. Or you can call an airdrop with a car. Like, that might happen, but it's fantasy, you know. But what these games do is, you might say, okay, those are realistic elements. Well, that's the point, is these games are combining fantasy with realism, and it's creating this just huge mess of a game. H1Z1, people don't like the zombie mode anymore. They play the Hunger Games mode. Like, that's the most popular mode. It's like, you can know H1Z1 as a Hunger Games game, not a zombie game. It's that simple. You know, in these games, it's like, you need to pick completely fantasy, whatever the word is. Where you have, like The Walking Dead is a good example of a zombie game that's completely fantasy-based. Like, it is linear, objective. It doesn't matter if you survive or not. You gotta do the choices. It is heavily story-driven and made everybody cry. But, you know, stuff like that. Then you have the other side, which is, you know, realism. But you can't combine the two. So, what I think zombie games need to do is split up fantasy and realism. Either go full fantasy or full realism. And if you go, you know, fantasy is easy enough. Fantasy means you can do whatever you want, you know. But realism is kind of tough to do. Like, for instance, in DayZ, how many people are, like, bandits? Like, everyone, right? Well, realistically, those people should go mentally insane and die because they're sad because they kill everybody. Like, there needs to be... What these games aren't doing is there's no penalty for killing anybody. You know? Which is real. You know? If a zombie grabs your arm versus your leg, it doesn't matter. It should matter completely. You know? And it's just... like, the next step for zombie games is to be able to manipulate the way people think. And what I mean by that is, if you get into a zombie game, you shouldn't be able to pick a strategy and have it work every time. You should be able to make a plan, but that plan should have to shift to what the zombies are doing or the people. So for instance, if I say, I'm going to go into a hospital and gather as many medicines as I possibly can, which means probably leaving everything except like a knife home, and I go to the hospital and it's flooded with zombies, I should not be able to kill all the zombies with a knife to gather as many medical supplies as I can. I should have to say, okay, if I want to raid the hospital, I should be able to go into the safe parts because I'm not armed very well. You know, I shouldn't be able to just decide on a play style. You know, you should have to manipulate players to, you know, go with what's going on, not with their plans. You know, someone can't just say I want to be a bandit, because like probably 1 or 2 kills in, their character will probably start going crazy and maybe just not be able to kill anyone at all. And then you're screwed if someone tries to attack you. Like, there needs to be those kinds of elements in the game where, like I said, you shouldn't be able to make a plan, you know? It shouldn't be, I found a gun, therefore I am safer. It should be, I found a gun, therefore I can kill stuff faster and in a different way. Not a better way, a different way. And then I got a silencer. That's another different way, you know? There shouldn't be the term I'm safer should come very rarely. It should be more I can do this in a different way. That's what zombie games need to start doing. And one of the survival games that does just that is Miscreated, the game that I actually put on this channel a long time ago. That game, you can do anything you want, but what you choose to do changes on what equipment you have. If you have a knife, usually you stay in corners, and if you're hiding from someone, you sit in a corner ready to stab them. If you have a gun, you watch the area for movement, and if you see a threat, you shoot it from long range. But if you don't have bullets, then it's completely different. So that's my rant on, I guess it's a rant, on what need to be fixed in zombie games. Like, right now, zombie games suck. It's a fact, you know? So go ahead, tell me what you thought of this video if you liked it, tell me what you thought of this video if you disliked it, and tell me what you want to see in the next revolutionary zombie game.